Meantime, the Lakers. Okay, so here's what LeBron says. There have been times when we're at our best, we look really good. And there are other times where it's disgusting.
You know what that sounds like, Ernie?
What?
Sounds like an old man. Like when you wake up in the morning, sometimes I'll be like, ooh, I feel good. Then that next day you'd be like,
That's
sciatica,
disgusting.
sciatica, it's hurting me.
Charles Barkley opened his mouth about the Lakers again, and what came out was so accurate, it actually hurt to laugh at. The Washington Generals comparison, the Oprah Winfrey impression, the sciatica joke directed straight at LeBron. Chuck was not holding back a single syllable, and honestly, every word landed perfectly. This one was special. Drop a comment below. Do you think the Lakers are actually a legitimate playoff threat in the West this season? Or is Charles Barkley calling it exactly right?
Why do you hate the Lakers? Chuck, tell us.
Why I hate the Lakers? It's always somebody else's fault. Remember 3 years ago, it was Russell Westbrook's fault. Then it was Frank Vogel's fault. Then it was D'Angelo Russell's fault. Then it was Darvin Ham's fault. It's always somebody else's fault. And it bothers me. Listen, you don't always blame other people for your shortcomings.
Let's just appreciate Charles Barkley for a moment before we get into the actual content of what he said, because the man has elevated Lakers commentary into something that belongs in a museum at this point.
Lakers like an Oprah Winfrey show. You get a basket. You get a basket. You get a basket. Everybody who plays against the Lakers, they gonna make everybody look good. I mean, they're like the Washington Generals. They gonna make every team's the Globetrotters against them. I mean, and we can keep sugarcoating it, and I know they gonna make us talk about the Lakers. The Lakers are a mediocre team.
If you watch Inside the NBA with any regularity, you already know that the Lakers are Chuck's favorite subject. Not favorite as in he loves them. Favorite as in they provide him with the most consistent and reliable source of material for the kind of commentary that makes people spit their drinks out.
And the Lakers proved to what I keep saying. The Lakers stink, plain and simple. We have to talk about them because the media is infatuated with the Lakers. But the Lakers are not a good team. They got zero athletic ability. They got a good shot every time. The Lakers could never keep them in front of them. This was a coaching masterpiece by Jason Kidd because there's no way that team that the Mavs put out there, especially one winning by 20, basically.
The Lakers have been Chuck's comedy gift that keeps giving for years now. And the most recent episode of Inside the NBA delivered him several new pieces of material that he used with the precision of someone who has been doing this for a very long time. It started with LeBron's own quote about the team. LeBron said, and this is a direct quote, that there have been times when the Lakers look really good at their best, and other times where it is disgusting. He said it himself. The man described his own team using the word disgusting in a press conference setting, which is either remarkable self-awareness or a cry for help, depending on how charitable you are feeling.
He just described who he should be and who the team should be based on what their personnel is at that time. They are old in certain parts. They don't have perimeter.
Wait, he's the only one old.
But they don't have perimeter defense. Young at the perimeter. So now there's no resistance for guys that get downhill.
Yes.
And I think that is the biggest thing. You know, yes, they don't have a great shot blocker, but they have shot block ability. But they do not have resistance at the 1, 2, and 3 position. And that is indicative of why they play like that.
Charles Barkley took that quote and did something with it that nobody who was watching will forget anytime soon. He said it sounds like an old man waking up in the morning. One day you feel great, everything is working, you are moving well and feeling sharp. The next day, the sciatica is screaming at you and nothing cooperates. The connection between LeBron's description of the Lakers and the physical reality of aging was so specific and so well delivered that the entire Inside the NBA set lost it completely. And the thing is, it was not mean for the sake of being mean. It was just accurate. LeBron James is in his 40s playing professional basketball. His team has good nights and disgusting nights, with very little predictability between them. That is not a coincidence. That is what late career athleticism looks like when you are asking a 41-year-old body to perform at the highest level of professional sports on a back-to-back schedule. But Chuck was not done with one joke. He never is when the Lakers are the subject.
I agree
J.J.
with
Bennett
Kenny.
going more to his own, too, to address the defensive issues on that team.
Absolutely, and like you mentioned, like Luka and Austin Reaves have been terrific offensively. Luka flirt with a triple-double every night. Austin Reaves been killing the league, averaging over 25 points, but they've been a turnstile on defense. And whoever comes to town can just beat them off the dribble, drive and kick, and get other guys open. But you wanted to also get more from DeAndre Ayton as an anchor when you acquire him as the Lakers, and he's been pedestrian a lot of times, and I just don't think the Lakers, even though LeBron does a really good job at his
But when you
agent,
open a bee's nest and all the bees, it's hard to block all the bees. Like, you got DeAndre in there like this. Like, come on, it's like you got to have resistance out front.
but even offensively,
142 to 224. The panel got into the actual basketball reasons behind the Lakers' defensive struggles, and the analysis was genuine and worth paying attention to, even underneath all the comedy. The Lakers do not have perimeter defenders at the 1, 2, and 3 positions who can provide meaningful resistance against players who want to attack downhill. When you cannot stop guards and wings from getting into the paint, everything behind them gets stressed. The shot blockers have to work harder, the rotations get more complicated, the whole defensive structure becomes reactive rather than proactive. DeAndre Ayton was acquired with the expectation that he would serve as an anchor in the paint, a physical presence who could clean up the mess created by perimeter breakdowns and provide some deterrence around the basket. By most honest assessments, he has been pedestrian. Not terrible, not someone you can point to as the sole problem, but not the defensive anchor the Lakers needed him to be when they made the decision to bring him in. The bee's nest analogy came up, and it is actually a useful one, even if it sounds funny in isolation. When you have no resistance at the perimeter, you are essentially opening a bee's nest. Every bee that gets through is a driver who has reached the paint with a full head of steam. You can have shot blockers back there, you can have size and length, but if you are dealing with multiple drivers simultaneously because nobody stopped any of them at the point of attack, if every bee is already through, it is very hard to block all of them. The math of rotating and helping and recovering simply does not work in your favor when the perimeter defense is that porous.
They gonna make us talk about the Lakers. The Lakers are a mediocre team. Now they got some really good teams in the West that we should be talking about, because I'm starting to get on this San Antonio bandwagon right now. Obviously we got OKC and Denver, we got Houston, but man, them Spurs, they're knocking on that door.
Luka Dončić and Austin Reaves have been outstanding offensively. This is not a debate. Luka flirts with a triple-double on a nightly basis. Reaves has been averaging over 25 points per game and has been one of the more impressive individual performances in the Western Conference this season. Offensively, the Lakers can score. They have the personnel to put points on the board against almost anyone.
Still, number 5 in the West right now, the Lakers, and for the 11th time this season, expected to have LeBron and Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic together on the floor.
You get a basket. You get a basket.
Which is better rarity.
what you want to do, what you want to do.
But then, Charles Barkley delivered the Oprah impression. You get a basket! You get a basket! Everybody gets a basket! The comparison to the Oprah Winfrey Show, where Oprah famously gave away cars to every audience member, applied to the Lakers' defensive performance, was so perfectly constructed that it deserved its own standing ovation. Because the Lakers' defense genuinely operates like a giveaway show right now. Every team that comes to town gets their points. Every opposing player looks like an all-star against the Lakers' perimeter. Come on down, grab your points. We are giving them out freely tonight and every night. And then came the Washington Generals line. For anyone who does not know the reference, the Washington Generals are the team that exists to lose to the Harlem Globetrotters. The Globetrotters are the entertainment, the spectacle, the showmanship. The Generals are the foil. Their job, essentially, is to make the Globetrotters look amazing by being the team that gets beaten night after night. They are professionally, structurally, institutionally, the team that loses. Charles Barkley looked at the Los Angeles Lakers, a franchise with 17 championships, the franchise of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Magic Johnson and Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant, and said, they are the Washington Generals. Every team that plays them is the Harlem Globetrotters. Every opponent comes in and gets to put on a show because the Lakers make everybody look good. The audience laughed. The panel laughed. And somewhere in the back of the mind of every Lakers fan watching, a small voice was probably saying, he is not entirely wrong. The Clippers' Lawrence Frank tried to spin his team's situation by saying the goals had not changed and this was not a white flag moment. Barkley's response to that was also perfect, noting that the Clippers had waved every color of flag available to them at this point, not just white. Purple flag, orange flag, blue flag, all the flags have been waved. The white flag is just the most recent one in a long series of flags that started flying the moment Kawhi Leonard's injury history became a recurring plot point in the team's long-term planning. But the Lakers were the main attraction in this particular segment, and Barkley made sure the segment delivered. The broader defensive analysis from the panel was honest and worth taking seriously beneath all the entertainment value of Chuck's delivery. The Lakers are 5th in the Western Conference right now, which sounds fine on the surface. But 5th in the West means navigating a playoff bracket that includes Oklahoma City, Denver, Houston, and the San Antonio Spurs, all of whom are playing better basketball with more defensive coherence than the Lakers are currently showing. Barkley mentioned specifically that he is getting on the San Antonio bandwagon, and that statement deserves attention because Chuck does not usually volunteer positive opinions about teams without reason. The Spurs are 3rd in the Western Conference and have beaten Oklahoma City, the top seed, 3 times already this season. Dylan Harper is averaging 11 points per game as a 19-year-old rookie. The organization has rebuilt itself around young talent with genuine upside, and they are doing it in a way that suggests this is not a one-year fluke, but the beginning of a sustained run. The Lakers, by contrast, are built around an aging superstar at the end of his career, a transcendent talent in Luka Dončić who is not yet fully integrated with the team's identity, and a supporting cast that has significant offensive capability and genuinely worrying defensive gaps. The combination works on some nights and falls completely apart on others, which is exactly what LeBron described when he used the word disgusting. What makes Barkley's commentary land beyond just the comedy is that he is willing to say the thing that the more reverent segments of sports media are still tiptoeing around. The Lakers are a mediocre team right now. Not bad enough to be interesting in a rebuilding way. Not good enough to be a legitimate threat to the best teams in the Western Conference. They occupy that frustrating middle ground where they are relevant enough to command national attention, because LeBron James commands national attention regardless of his team's record, but not good enough to actually do anything meaningful with that attention in May and June. The LeBron aging conversation is uncomfortable for a lot of media people to have directly, which is exactly why Barkley having it with a sciatica joke is both funny and necessary. The physical reality of what it means to be playing professional basketball at 41 years old, even for an athlete as extraordinarily well-maintained as LeBron, shows up in exactly the inconsistency he described. Great nights and disgusting nights. Good mornings and bad mornings. Some days the sciatica cooperates, and some days it does not. This is not disrespect for what LeBron has accomplished. His longevity alone is a genuine athletic achievement that deserves acknowledgement. But acknowledging the achievement does not require pretending the decline is not happening. And Barkley is one of the few people in mainstream sports media who will say that clearly without wrapping it in 17 layers of qualification first. The 11 times LeBron and Reaves and Luka have played together this season stat was also illuminating in the context of the broader conversation. A unit that critical to the team's offensive and defensive identity has shared the floor together 11 times. 11. In a season that is now well past the midpoint. The injury absences, the load management, the scheduling, all of it has prevented the core trio from building the kind of chemistry and continuity that winning teams develop over months of playing together. You cannot build defensive cohesion in 11 games. You cannot develop the kind of trust in rotations and assignments that successful playoff defense requires when your key players have missed so many games together. The zone defense conversation. The Lakers moving towards zone to address their perimeter resistance problems tells you something important about where the coaching staff is right now. Zone is a tool that teams use when their man-to-man defense lacks the individual personnel to stop people one-on-one. It can work as a changeup, as a way to disrupt rhythm, as a wrinkle that makes opponents think. But sustained zone defense at the playoff level, against the best offensive teams in the league is not a solution. It is a Band-Aid. The Spurs, the Thunder, the Nuggets, these are teams that will find the gaps in a zone and exploit them consistently. The Washington Generals comparison stings because the Lakers have spent the better part of this season making everyone they play look better than they probably are. Opponents come in, attack the perimeter, drive into the paint, kick out for open threes, and walk away with point totals that make their highlight reels look fantastic. The Harlem Globetrotters have been running through the Lakers' defense with the same freedom that the actual Globetrotters have been running through the actual Generals since 1971. Chuck noticed. He said it. The crowd laughed. The panel laughed. And every Lakers fan watching at home laughed too, a little bit, in the specific painful way that people laugh at things that are true about something they love. The West is genuinely excellent this season. Oklahoma City at the top, the Spurs making noise right behind them, Denver with their veteran championship DNA, Houston with their young energy and defensive intensity. The Lakers, sitting fifth, have real work to do if they want to be taken seriously in the playoffs rather than treated as a first-round exit waiting to happen for whoever draws them. Barkley is not going to stop talking about the Lakers. They are too reliable a source of material and too nationally relevant a team for him to look away. But the quality of the material they are providing him has genuinely increased this season, and that is not a good sign for anyone hoping the Lakers figure things out before April. You get a basket. You get a basket. Everybody gets a basket. Charles Barkley called the Lakers the Washington Generals on national television, and the worst part is the argument against him is genuinely difficult to make right now. The defense is the defense. The sciatica joke was earned. The Oprah impression was perfect. Hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your Lakers take in the comments below. See you next time.